We have another Find Out Season post. This is coming out of Nigeria. And just to let y'all know, my office is outside today. My coworkers are birds and sometimes dogs. So I'm just putting that out there. You may hear my coworkers. Sometimes they have meetings. Anyways, I love this post. I love that someone sent me this Find Out Season post from Nigeria. So this man Mufti says, one of our guys here in UK will face the disciplinary committee on Tuesday at his workplace because he told his white female colleague that she's adding weight. And if she enters the gym, her shape will really make sense. The lady says she's traumatized by his remarks about her body. All I'm praying for right now is for him to be warned or something, because that's the company that sponsored his visa to the UK. And if they terminate his appointment, it means he'll have to leave the UK. This same guy was asking two of his colleagues who are lesbian, how did they have their daughter? He was warned and protected by the then acting director of the company because the acting director is Nigerian. I'm just too sad and worried about him, for F's sake. These men really, and this has to be a global phenomenon, where these men, no matter if you are familiar with the woman, it's a random woman, it's a woman that you're in a romantic relationship, they really feel that they have the right to comment on their bodies. They get to do it in social media spaces. You know, the red pill or whatever, it taught them that they could just get online and talk about women's body how they want. And actually, why am I saying that? It was even before the red pill. Men simply believe that they have the authority to comment on women's bodies. And this man, who is Nigerian, took that mess over to the UK, and he is finding out that doesn't flow, because if he was over in Nigeria, he probably could get away with it because he's amongst his own people. In the patriarchy, there's still levels to it. But this is a Nigerian man over in the UK talking about a white woman, and white women can just turn on their tears. Oh my God, I'm just traumatized. Like, you have to get rid of him. Like, mind your business. Go to work. Why are you talking about some woman's body? Why? I cannot stand unsolicited advice of any kind. But who are you, random man? That would piss me off too. And this woman is going to probably have more standing than this Nigerian man that is being sponsored. Like, literally, what is wrong with the thought patterns of these people? And this man Mufti is praying that he just gets a warning. But this dude has already been inappropriate and been warned. There is no helping people like this. Like, literally, he just has verbal vomit coming out because, like, the two brain cells are not, like, snapping. They're not working properly. So he's going to have to go back home. Khan at the bottom says, learn to mind your business. Just shut up and do your job and go home. Very simple. So I don't know the language, but I can get the gist of what it's talking about. So Mufti says, look, I'm not talking about anything outside of soccer and food. Anything outside of that, you're not going to see me there. And to that, Khan says, as you should. People don't know the sensitivity of certain discourse. Thank God for Twitter. It really let me learn things. Good. Learn from other people's mistakes. Stop commenting on things that are inappropriate. Keep things light and fluffy and about your job. Like, you know what? Sometimes people have to touch the stove. This man was warned, but he's going back and he's going to touch it again because he has no sense. That means that, you know, maybe 2 strikes and you're out and you're going back home. So this person, Daddy Yes, is like, now she's the victim and she's going to say that she's traumatized. And Mufti is like, oh, she's saying it's her mental health. But that's the thing. It doesn't matter what she says, because what she says is probably going to ride. This woman is probably going to get the benefit of the doubt, and he's not. So once again, let it be known that you go to work to mind your own business, and stop commenting on random women's bodies unless that random woman has asked you for some advice. Okay, so Owalabi says, wow, that's serious. I pray they are lenient with him. And then we have Miss Smart Abek. She says, he was only looking out for her. Maybe they do relate well. You don't know that they relate well. Obviously, if she is complaining, maybe they did not relate well. She says, I hope he learns how to overlook things. He is not in Nigeria that you can just dish out some words without anyone asking for your opinion. Why is it okay to do this in Nigeria? Why is it okay for men to speak on women's body in Nigeria? This is the part that really puzzles me. Globally, here in the United States too, globally, these men really have this entitlement, and this is a woman that is just saying it nonchalantly. Absolutely not. This should not be. There should be some consequences, but there's not going to be. And so he's not going to learn a lesson. He's not going to learn a lesson if he's in Nigeria, but he's going to learn a lesson over in the UK. Ajibola says, no familiarity allowed in that country. Just do your job and go home. Dr. Teslima says he should be punished, not necessarily deported, but I sincerely hope he doesn't get away with it. Suspension or anything, because there is a possibility he'll do it again. And he'd reference how he got away with it in a developed country. Yes, he's going to brag about it. There has to be consequences, otherwise he'll continue to do it. A man, Zaire, says, may God come through for him. It is a very difficult situation. I just pray he gets away with a strike or put on probation. Why is God worried about this? God is probably like, shut your mouth and do your job. Like Ridwan says, one thing I do and do very well is minding my business. Someone else's body is not your business, dude. Sky Girl says, I am not sorry for him. If he makes it, I'm good. If he doesn't, at least he's learned his lesson. Maybe, maybe not. Some of these people don't learn lessons. Iowa says he will learn how to mind his business by force. And then Riri says, definition of not everything you see needs your opinion. I hope he learns. Now, the man that posted this originally limited his comments. But let's look at what some of the people said with the retweets. Y'all, I am loving this. I love this Find Out season because some of these people need to be tapped because they don't understand something other than consequences. Onye says, oh, how I love Nigerian men facing consequences. And then she gives this picture. It says, it gives me, I think they call it endorphins of this. Tima says, white women deserve the world for how they help deal with the misogynist non-white men. Queens, I hope she pursues civil action for sexual harassment too. Ayanda says, I saw a chat image yesterday where one guy said to a Nigerian lady, you have zero power. You are a Nigerian woman. I felt really bad seeing that statement. I pray such men continue to experience this level of consequence and more for being stupid and mean to women. And that's where I am, because I know that if he were to go back to Nigeria, he wouldn't face any kind of consequences. He would get away with talking about a woman's body. That's the reason why I'm glad that other women are speaking on what they see. I share these type of things to make sure that we know and understand what women are dealing with globally. And these entitled men that think that they should be commenting on women's body is a global phenomenon, and it needs to stop. They need to face some kind of consequences somewhere so they can learn how to mind their mouth in their own business. Serendipity says, I love when you Nigerian men F around and find out. The nonsense you do in Nigeria and get away with, his eyes will peel so he can learn to never speak on women or their bodies. And then Bella says, it's satisfying to see Nigerian men being held accountable, considering women don't have rights here. I hope he's severely prosecuted. Now we have Wale. He says, the state of the replies. Facepalm. As a people, why do we always either defend bad behavior or pray against consequences of bad behavior? Some even think it's because it's the UK, as if this is an okay thing to do in Nigeria. Okay, I'm glad to see that a man is saying that this is not okay here. In the UK or Nigeria, because he's talking about the replies in Mufti, not the retweets. Thugnificent says, bro, I wish this type of thing really fit work for Nigeria, because there are so many people that say so much you didn't ask for, and it pisses me off. Another man. Okay. Maybe things can eventually change. Let me know what you think about this one. We have a hobosexual tail, or a pest that wants to nest and rest. This woman posted in the Am I the A-hole subreddit, and this title, it already makes me exhausted for her. She says, am I the a-hole for telling my boyfriend he can't use my vehicle anymore to take his kids to school every day? More info below. The title is already giving me red flags and warning signals, but let's look at the post. She's 30. He's 36 and still doesn't have his life together, but okay. She says, I am starting to get frustrated with my boyfriend for not taking accountability for his own problems. He had a vehicle that he used to drive, but beat it to the ground and never gave the vehicle any TLC until we started dating 4 years ago. He drove it with an expired inspection sticker, like 3 years expired, until he got pulled over and the officer told him the next time he would get a ticket. The car sat for an entire year until we moved to a new apartment, and the car continued to sit for another year until my landlord confronted me that it needed to be removed from the property due to no use, and it was difficult to start and move during the winter snowfall for plowing. My boyfriend got upset because it's his vehicle. He can have it there, where he doesn't say in the lease he can have it here. After a couple of months, my landlord brought it up again that he wouldn't re-sign a lease with us if the car wasn't removed. So she has moved in with her boyfriend. He does not have his paperwork in alignment, but she moved in with this man who doesn't take care of his business or priorities as far as a car, and cars are needed to do things in life. Okay, like I said, lots of red flags. So in January, after my last warning from the landlord, I went and bought a new battery for the car, installed it myself, got a storage unit, had it towed to said storage unit, and told my boyfriend he needed to figure out what to do with it. 7 months later, the car still sits in the storage unit, which I'm paying for at $200 a month. I recently brought it up to him and stated, I don't want this to be a fight. I'm just airing my truths. I stated that I found it really difficult for me to continue to store the vehicle because he's not taking accountability for it. He's just forgotten about it until I've consistently bring it up to him and ask what he's doing with it. I told him I found it really unattractive that there's no initiative and that it was really starting to piss me off. I'm the only one that's helped him with it, and he's not given a I told him at this point he owes me all the money back, but deep down I know that probably won't happen. He sat and listened to what I had to say, but didn't really input any sort of game plan to get rid of it. This was a month ago. Today I sit here getting the bank notification that $200 was taken out for the storage unit again, and he's given zero effort to figuring it out. He uses my car for whatever he needs, including when his kids were in school, he would drive my car every day to bring them. I really don't have a problem with that, but she's starting to feel used. Okay, he puts gas in the car, but he treats it like it's our vehicle. It's an our vehicle thing. She says, I paid my car off, which was a huge accomplishment for me. But there's a small anxious part of me that worries that if he's driving it and gets in an accident, I'm SOL. Like literally everything about this post so far has been like warning flags. Like, why are you doing this with this man? I still haven't got to the part where he's doing anything in this relationship to support her. I haven't gotten to it. We're at the end though. She says, I haven't had the conversation with him yet. I know it's going to be a hard one, but it's the only way I feel like I can stand my ground at this point. I know his kids may be a little disappointed that they can't see their dad every day, but I feel that I can't continue to keep allowing him to use it like he wants. And I also think I'm just going to have his car towed to his mother's house so they can deal with it. All I've done is put effort into this car. I put spark plugs, a new alternator, and a new battery to get it to start, all by myself in YouTube. The car isn't inspectable and needs a lot of work, and I know he won't put into it, and I barely got a thank you. Edit. Yes, he has a job. I take him to work every day and pick him up at the end of his shift. He has a good job, but saving money. Most of you have said he doesn't respect me, and yes, I do see that and have for a little while. I know I'm just letting him walk all over me, and that's why I talked to him last month about it and told him I needed him to figure it out. Oh my God, she needs a lot of things. This is a people pleaser. She's letting him walk all over her. She knows it. Like, what is she getting out of this? Ladies, like, I don't know if this woman is salvageable, but stop doing so much for them. Stop. Make them hold their own nuts. If his car gets towed, he needs to figure it out. If his kids need a ride, he needs to figure it out. They never have to flex those muscles, those admin muscles, those multitasking muscles, because some woman comes in and fixes things for them. Let him do it. If he does it enough, eventually he'll get better at it. Stop doing everything. This woman is out of money financially. She's stressing. At least she learned how to fix the car. She did all this by herself. But like, I don't know. She typed up all of this and still doesn't see the problem. Irony is my life says, let him know that this is the last month you will be paying for storage. Then go in and let the storage place know that you're ending the contract at the end of the month. Make sure he knows that and let him figure it out. Then don't re-sign your lease. Move out and leave this loser behind. He doesn't want a partner. He wants a mommy. Let him figure out how to be a grown-up. You don't need to waste your time and money on this man. Not the a-hole, but you will be if you continue to let him use you. Visual Light says all of this. He wants a mom, not a partner. You will grow to resent him if you haven't already, and your relationship will fall apart because of that dynamic. He will suck you dry mentally, emotionally, physically, and financially. Get out as soon as the lease is up. It's long past time for him to grow up. Here I am chiming in. You have a parasite attached to you, and you need to take it off before it drains you. I call these people pests that need to nest and rest. He is sucking you dry, and you're allowing it at this point. You have a man-child, not a partner. This ain't it. You're being an a-hole to yourself at this point. Infinite Anxiety says he'll drain her until there's nothing left and then blame her for leaving. Murky Tail says, or drain her until there's nothing left and move on to some other girl that he'll do the same thing to, because they are literal parasites and can't live without a host. That's why you detach and see if they can sink or swim. And I really wish that women would quit picking up these parasites and attaching it to themselves. What are you getting out of these bloodsucker energy vampires? Legitimate Will says the same goes for our car. Sword Salt says this. My ex got into an accident in my car, but then refused to give me the money he promised to give me after we broke up. I wasn't even in the car when it happened. Stop letting these people drive your car. Pixelholic says, this is the thing. You have a grown man here who wants to be taken care of, won't do what he has to do for himself, and blames other people for problems he brought on himself. Why are you with this guy, not the a-hole? And finally, OK Prince says, exactly. I'm trying to figure out why she's with him, unless she has 3 eyes and is afraid no one would date her. Or is he spectacular in the sack and she would miss that? What is the attraction? There is a great plaque at one of my favorite coffee houses that says, don't cling to a mistake just because you spent a lot of time making it. I wish there was an attribution because the person who first said those words deserves the accolades. I completely agree. Don't cling to a mistake just because you spent a lot of time making it. That's the whole sunk cost fallacy. That's basically the sunk cost fallacy. Get out of the mistake that you have made and don't continue to make it. Let me know what you think about this one. Join the conversation. Don't be a host to a pest that needs to nest and rest. Stop doing this. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, and share. Negging and boundaries. This is what we're talking about with this Threads post. And I'm so glad that so many different women are walking away from men who neg them. This woman, Flourish with Flowers, gives this account of an interaction with a man. She says, him, hey, beautiful. Me, hey. Him, what makes you think I was talking to you? Me, looks around, shaking my head, and keeps walking. Him, hold on. I'm just playing. Can I give you my number? Me, walks faster. And then Mug says, let me give you a little sample of what a relationship with me would be like. They think that, you know, doing this whole negging situation, this is where they like give a backhanded compliment. And they think that that is a great first icebreaker or a first interaction. And these women right now are walking away from this. In times past, a woman might have giggled, oh, you just playing. This stuff is not funny. It's not funny. They try to pick apart your self-esteem. This man thought she was attractive enough to talk to her, but then he wanted to bring her down maybe 2 or 3 notches. That is what they do. Negging is like, you know what? You are pretty, but I don't typically date black women. Or, you know, I found your friend to be cuter, but you seem nice. Like literally that is what they do because they want to talk to you. They don't know what to say, but they know also you might be out of their league. This is not acceptable. Don't give them any air to breathe. Walk away. Don't even breathe their same air. Walk away from them. If more women just walked away, they would see that this is unacceptable. So if you didn't know what negging was, this right here is negging. The KNW Moon says, I will never understand their kink with being mean and calling it teasing or a sense of humor. Haley says, I mean, men are mean to each other. If their male friend is depressed, they will either laugh at him for being weak or just ignore him. If they're mean to their own species, what makes you think they'll be nice to us women? I don't know what Meryl Q was trying to get at with this question. This person, Meryl Q, says the solution will be, like, why ask a question? Why don't I don't like it when they don't just give an opinion on whatever we're talking about. Lena Verse says, it's how men interact with each other and themselves in the mirror. Little Fairy Doll says, it somehow worked for them in middle and high school, so they think it still does on grown women. Melanin Queen says, I do it right back and they hate it. Like, oh, it's not funny now? Huh? And 80 Dade says, testing boundaries. They want to see what you will accept early on. And if women keep walking away, blocking them, hanging up the phone, all of that, they will eventually learn that this is not how you interact with adult women with a sense of self-esteem. We have a man. Behold, a man. Omnipotent says, another woman would have thought that it was cute. Get out of here. It was a joke. Chromatic Wanderer says, and that other woman will likely be tolerating other BS for the effort. Tell me, assumed male, what's the punchline of this joke? I want to laugh too. So she's assuming that this is a male as well. I believe that it's definitely a male. Tactless Radio says, men don't joke. They test boundaries and call it a joke when they see your response. And that's the reason why somebody named Omnipotent wants to make sure that women have it programmed that this is how they joke with them, because they don't want women to like get these boundaries and start walking away from more of them. All of these women on here are saying that this is not a joke. Kia says, then another woman can stop and talk to him because someone else finds something cute. All women must too. Get out of here. Katie says it was not cute. Sid says no women thinks that a great joke feels more insulting. This is called negging. The Keep It Moving says, what was the joke? Yes. I'm glad that we are getting on this page. We're talking about this stuff. And for other women that are watching in these spaces, they will know that this is not acceptable. And hopefully they will not accept it either. Not everybody has the same sense of humor. Not everybody has the same sense of sense of self or self-esteem. So maybe this will be what helps women get a sense of self-esteem where you don't accept negging. Understand that this is not funny. This is some man trying to insult you and then laugh about it and see if you will accept him laughing at insulting you. Don't accept it. Walk away. Let me know what you think about this. Join the conversation. Hopefully all of these conversations that we're having, you're sharing with somebody else so that we can continue to walk away from behaviors that are not suitable for our mental health, our growth, or any of that. So continue to like, comment, and share.
And what book do I like reading? A checkbook. And what band do I like listening to? Bands of Cash. And what plant do I like the most? The money tree. And what app do I use the most? The bank app. And what's my favorite hobby? Getting money that isn't mine.